everybody, and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Wednesday, February 14th, 2018. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Drew P. Dog.
Welcome, Mr. P. Dog. Everybody, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you are having a good day today and spending it with somebody that you care about, even if that is only yourself. Otherwise, if you would consider supporting our show as maybe a Valentine's Day gift, patreon.com/dailyinternet, or send us news that you would like us to talk about to our subreddit, which is our iReaditcast, or in an email, which is feedback.ireddit@gmail.com. So, Mr. P-Doc, how are you?
I'm fucking drowsy as shit.
Why? What happened?
Because I'm a singular giant dumb.
A singular giant dumb. Not even a pile of dumb, just one massive dumb.
Giant fucking dumb.
Explain.
I ate a bunch of Twix today because I fucking love Twix that I'm allergic to.
Because they have palm in it?
Yep. As well as going, fuck it, and why not, and eating a ho-ho, as well as a donut.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go to town, you better, make the full trip.
So I was itchy as fuck, and I was like, hey, do any of you have, like, non-drowsy antihistamines? And one of my friends was like, well, I've got this one here, and it doesn't say if it makes you drowsy, but it doesn't also say non-drowsy.
Then it's drowsy.
Yeah, well, I was like, I'm going to risk it, because, I'm real fucking itchy, because I'm a giant dumb.
Good job.
And I'm so tired.
So, was it just a straight-up Benadryl?
It pretty much was.
Was it pink?
So fucking tired.
Like,
I'm not too itchy. Like, I don't really notice it.
Sure.
I feel like I am itchy. I just don't notice it.
It amazes me. So stuff like NyQuil and all that kind of stuff doesn't affect me at all when it comes to making me drowsy or anything like that, right? Like, I can drink NyQuil like it's Dayquil and be perfectly fine. Like, any type of most allergy medicines, like Zyrtec, again, fine. Like, but Benadryl, specifically Benadryl, will just knock me out. I've had 5 milligrams or millimeters or whatever it's measured in of children's Benadryl, and it knocked me out for about 2.5 hours.
Millimeters of Benadryl.
I don't know, whatever. Because last time, like, I had taken one thing of Benadryl. Okay, so the first time I ever took Benadryl was probably about, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I was having super bad allergies, so my sister gave me 2 of them. I had to leave work that day and go home and sleep for about 5 hours because I couldn't. So the next time that I had super bad allergies, I took 1 Benadryl, and, I couldn't tell the difference between 1 or 2 because they both killed me. And so the next time that I was having super bad allergies, Jennifer was like, well, we still have some children's Benadryl left over. It's supposed to not be as severe. I'll give you a half dose. So it was only 5, whatever. It was 5 megagrams.
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 That was your problem.
5 milligrams of Benadryl, of children's Benadryl. Nope, I was still dead for like an hour and a half.
So that happens to me. And oftentimes I take it right during work, and I don't remember those days.
I can't exist those days.
I get real fucked up.
I believe it. Actually,
at one point, it used to be if I was getting tired, or if I wasn't getting tired when I need to, instead of taking like ZZZ-Quil, or instead of taking I was just taking antihistamines.
Sure,
really.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking melatonin or anything.
Yeah.
I figured it was all right because more than half the time I had already eaten something that I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But that just ends up being a thing when you can't afford to eat properly.
Well, and fortunately,
you just end up eating things that you're allergic to.
Well,
especially if your allergy is not that bad.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's not like a thing of where you swell up like a balloon, your throat's gonna swell closed, and you're gonna die. You're just extremely uncomfortable. So. Yeah. Like, it's not like, people that have a, severe allergy to, like, peanuts or anything like that have to carry an EpiPen where, they can go into anaphylactic shock and die. You're just like, I'm itchy and hate life. Of course, yeah. I guess the second part is kind of always true, so it's really just the first part that's an addition.
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm not going to say it.
That's true. That's true. So we have a lot of news today. I'm not sure if it was just that's the way things played out. Normally, like, we had started the show at 20 topics, cut out all the garbage to where it was pure news, and then put us to 10. We ended up running late a lot of times with 10 topics, cut it to 5. Today, though, as a present to you guys, I guess, for Valentine's Day, the world decided that news needed to be had today. We have a full 10 topics. We have condensed what me and Nathan cared about into one topic because it didn't make the top 10 because of its timing. I'm sure it would have been in the top 10 tomorrow, but since we know about it and can talk about it today, we will do so today. Nathan, Mr. P-Dog, are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Oh, God, my fucking eyeballs.
I believe it.
Feel them.
You need some tape, Tom and Jerry style it?
You mean Jughead or some shit? Well, I guess Tom and Jerry did it too. I mean, a lot of cartoons did it.
Yeah, tape your eyeballs open. Anyway, scientists have developed a brain implant that noticeably boosted memory in its first serious test run.
Submitted by Xer to Our Science.
Hey, get hyped! Kind of. So what this is it's kind of like a...
Does it, like, boost your RAM or some shit?
Sort of. It kind of boosts the power that your brain has, which is why it's still a concern. It's kind of like a pacemaker for your brain. If your brain is not functioning at the capacity it's supposed to be or not in the way that it's supposed to be, it kind of gives the brain a little jolt. There's a couple problems with this, in which the noticeable increase in memory is 15% in word retention. Word retention is the first thing that normally goes when it comes to Alzheimer's disease. Now that said,
we're finding so many cures for that. I'm so happy.
We're trying. Now this is by no means a cure yet. 15% is rather small, especially compared to the long-term effects of Alzheimer's disease. It's only been tested in patients that have epilepsy, not Alzheimer's itself. And the other part is that scientists and medical professionals are currently worried what the long-term effects of constantly delivering an external jolt of energy to the brain would cause.
That's fair. You know what? I'll be a test dummy. Throw that bitch inside my head.
Sure. But they're still concerned. Hopefully it does develop and get better, but right now 15% is not enough for them to believe that it is something that needs to be commercialized and put forward yet. It is not enough of a benefit.
This is close to everyone getting a fucking memory chip. Like, this is cool.
Sort of. They're also concerned about abuse with it, considering like ADHD drugs are already widely used for study aids so that people can focus better. And they're concerned that people would be using these as a memory booster when they don't actually need one.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Because it might cause damage to your brain.
Let's do it. Come on.
Whatever. Who needs a brain?
Throw this shit on me.
Quick. Strap me down. Plug it in.
I was going to say I haven't used my brain since I was in high school, but I really didn't. I was a teenager. I really didn't use my brain then either.
No, you probably use your brain more now.
I think the most I've used my brain was in elementary school.
Is that so? I mean, It was still developing then, so it was probably being used more. Exactly.
And right now, I mean, it's just been dead weight.
I mean, it's not dead, but it is useless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hundreds of child porn images, LSD, and ecstasy found in home of Boise Priest.
Submitted by Dark Ages 69 to our news. Wow.
You know, like all the terrible jokes about priests, especially of the Catholic variety.
Yeah.
Man, you know, it doesn't help when there's just people all the time that just keep reinforcing stereotypes.
That being said, I only really care about the child porn in this. Like, the LSD and the ecstasy, you go do your designer drugs all you want, whatever.
Sure.
That's your brain that you're, fucking with.
So this is...
But, like, the children porn dude, like, that's fucked up.
Yep, and he is a Catholic priest.
Oh, man, this...
Retired. He is currently 72 years old.
Does not bode well for any fucking Catholics.
So he has he was brought into court in a wheelchair for his arraignment on 14 different charges. 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a child, 2 counts of disturbing sexual exploitative material involving children, and 2 charges of drug possession. Except for...
I had to deal with a person today who had 7... in one case, 7 sex abuse of a minor or sexual unwanted penetration charges, all in the same case. It's fucking rampant. It's awful.
You know, even at a probable cause hearing. So, they were...
How do you even explain that?
He didn't.
Oh, I tripped and my dick fell in them.
No, he didn't even try to, like, deny it or anything. Straight up talked about his desires to do bad things to children, including of the visuals that he had on his computer and straight up murdering them.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude's crazy.
Maybe that's his, like how he avoids prison by getting put into a crazy asylum.
Or just dies. Dude's 72. He might have a heart attack or something soon.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to be brought into court in a wheelchair, so it tells me the dude's not doing well anyway.
I hope he never complained about millennials, because if you want to stick your dick in a millennial or younger, like, and you're complaining about them, you need to stop.
So his attorney argued that he should be released, pointing to his lack of a criminal record and impeccable reputation.
No.
Also arguing that there had never been a claim of abuse or impropriety aimed at him, despite the tens of thousands of children that his client had been around in his time as a pastor.
What? Wow.
Yes,
I bet I
still
hope
no.
every single one of you people who let your child around that person apologizes to your child.
Well, and the other thing is most of the time they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the way that, most religions are set up, like the pastor, the priest is someone you're supposed to trust, like, because they're supposed to be the good person that leads you down a good path.
See, I've made out with my childhood pastor, but that was after I was over 18.
And how old were they?
50?
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I've not been told this story by you, sir.
Yeah, I kind of try to forget it.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Understandable. We all have things we'd like to forget in one way or another.
It was not a good moment for me. I was being a giant dickhead. And, I mean, I am a giant dickhead, so...
Good job, buddy. 8. Tax-free billions. Australia's largest companies haven't paid corporate tax in 10 years.
This is submitted by Kevin. I don't know. To Our World News. I'm so tired.
You want to talk about, like, tax evasion of a legal variety, by the way?
Go for it.
So, one company alone has had $106.4 billion in revenue and has not paid a single penny in taxes to Australia since 2009. Here's how, okay? Australia tax law for corporations allows them to put their tax losses towards future gains. So these companies had huge losses like 10 years ago, like just massive loss, no profit. The company just lost value, tanked through the floor. And because of that, they are still able to claim those losses on the revenue that they generate today. So despite companies like Apple making along the lines of like $300 billion, they have not had to pay any taxes on them because they're still able to apply their previous losses to today's profits.
Wow. That's a legal loophole they should probably fix.
Yeah, that's kind of how Australia's starting to feel about it too, because that's a lot of money that the country could use, and it's just not seeing.
That's insane.
Now, they obviously suffer from the same things that America suffers from in terms of tax evasion, large amount of profits being stored in offshore accounts, never moving them into the country. There's lots of ways to do pass-throughs and things so that a large amount of the money never gets taxed, and they're experiencing the same issues. But they have an entire new loophole that America doesn't have that is just allowing billions of dollars in taxes to never hit the government's coffers.
They should change that because taxes are good.
They should change that because Australia could use money.
I'm one of the people whose opinion of a bigger federal government is something that is beneficial.
Right.
I like that idea, but
sure.
I guess not everyone does.
It's a controversial subject, Nathan. That's kind of the entire ordeal behind why America is divided into two sides, Republicans and Democrats.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we should have a federal government that is, too large, that fucking, that the states don't even matter anymore. I'm saying we should have slightly bigger, federal overloom for some of the states.
And even the size of the government aside, when a corporation reports $100 billion in profit, not revenue, profit, and doesn't pay a cent of taxes on that, that's a problem.
Legally.
Yeah. Literally legally, not skeevily, not shady means nothing, just out plain in the open for everyone to see of, yep, we didn't pay taxes because we found the secret.
That's that definitely needs to be fixed.
Yeah, that's a hole that needs to be just plugged right now.
Mm-hmm. God, it astounds me how lawful evil corporations are.
Well, I mean, they want to follow the rules as long as they can benefit from them as much as possible.
Just corporations in general are lawful evil.
You realize you're going to be part of a corporation soon, Nathan, just a very, very small one.
I'm still saying it, I can still work for a lawful evil person and be, lawful neutral.
Speaking of me being lawful evil, by the way, so we had one of those conversations around the D&D table on Sunday, and everyone people came to Josh and I don't know, he's probably chaotic good, and stuff like that. And then the conversation immediately turned to me. Everybody without a moment of hesitation, lawful evil. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, yep, no questions about it.
Yeah, no, 100% I agree with them, lawful evil.
Damn! Bus, me. Backed up over a couple times, ka-tunk.
Mm-hmm. Man, makes me wonder what they think I am.
I don't know. New Dutch law makes every adult an organ donor.
This was submitted by Mode Reddit to Our World News.
So in America and a good number of other countries, organ donation is an opt-in system. You have to say, yes, I want my organs to be donated. In a few countries, the newest of which is Netherlands, the other ones being Spain, Belgium, and France, it is an opt-out system. Once you are 18 years old, they will send you a letter that says, hey, would you like to opt out of the organ service, or would you like to put that decision onto somebody else, next of kin, significant other, etc.? If they don't hear it back from you within 6 weeks, they will send you an additional letter. If you do not respond to that letter, you are automatically added to the register as a organ donor.
I'm an organ donor.
Me too, but
I found out the reason why a lot of people don't like organ donating.
I know why. What I have heard. What is yours?
When people get in a big enough accident, they, instead of trying to resuscitate you and keep you alive, sometimes they'll just, not sometimes, there's a specific point which you have to get to where they'll just let you die because they have to take the organs from either a almost still living person or pretty much a fucking just freshly dead body.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard as well, is that and there have been cases where doctors have not tried to save someone's life for the purpose of trying to get their organs.
So, that being said, how do you feel about that?
And I'm not certain, because there is such a long list of people that need organs all the time. Because there are people that are, trying to get by with, fake kidneys and stuff. And, kidneys, luckily, can be gotten from living people, but things like hearts,
and
lungs,
pigs, too.
Sure. And so, it is a problem that there are people that die waiting for a valid organ. As long as they make it well known, actually make sure people are aware of it, and not just, some piece of junk mail, because I could see how that could easily be ignored. As long as they make it well known enough and make it easy enough to opt out of, I think it's a good thing, as it will mean that more lives are saved, along with the caveat that it needs to be ensured that those bad practices do not occur.
Yeah. I am an organ donor because I enjoy that idea that I could die early. Because, one, I ain't being no fucking vegetable. There is zero fucking way. As soon as I get into a vegetative state, I want someone to pull that fucking cord.
Ricky in the chat room says a paramedic will not look at your ID to see if you are a donor. That is completely false. They treat every person the same. Their job is to maintain life all the way to the hospital. Sure, I mean, you can say that about a paramedic, but there have been cases.
The doctor themselves.
Yeah, there have been cases, and there's not necessarily a lot of them, but fear is not built on the idea of something that is necessarily rampant. It can be a very small number of cases that puts onto a widespread fear of things. Like the actual number of people that ate Tide Pods was all of 100 people across the world. But that was enough for lawmakers to try. It made some lawmakers afraid, and in New York, they're trying to pass a law to make Tide Pods less enticing to eat. And so, even if there's only been maybe a dozen or 24 cases of doctors harvesting organs in a person that they could potentially have otherwise saved, that's enough for people to be concerned and not be willing to be a donor. And
I absolutely love the idea, though, because not only can I potentially die early, but my body parts are going to science stuff. I mean, I want my body to be donated to science.
Oh, no, I understand. I was just merely responding to the chat.
Right.
So
I love the idea that my body will be used to teach, and then after that be cremated for free for my family. Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, even even in this article, they present an instance in Germany where a doctor was accused of attempted manslaughter and grievous bodily harm, and then ended up losing his medical license because he falsified medical documents to speed up the process in order to harvest organs from one person so he could give him to his other patients.
God.
So
my mom in the chat says, "Okay, good to know." Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be a vegetable mom ever. Don't ever pay for that.
Yeah, my mom doesn't want to be a vegetable and doesn't want to be buried either. She has told us over and over again to burn her, and also when we burn her to make sure that they leave the lid off the box.
Yo, I could care less if you bury me, if you burn me, whatever, all right? I want my body donated to science. Usually they burn you afterwards. You can do fuck all you want with my ashes. I don't give a shit.
Cool. If there's enough of them, I will probably turn you into jewelry or have you infused into ink and get a tattoo with you.
Assuming you get them. Assuming you get them.
I'll fight for it.
If anything, right now, it would be my mother. Later on, it'd probably be my kids.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be around enough to convince them to give me, I don't know, half of you.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you could probably do that. That's no problem.
Look, I don't need his entire ashes. I just need, they said I need
Yo, just give me that ash.
Yeah, right. They said I need a pound of ashes.
Yo, it's Ash Wednesday.
Nice.
6.
FBI director. Trump hasn't directed me to stop Russian meddling in midterms.
This is submitted by Slackmel to Our Politics.
This is such a weird article, by the way. We have articles every now and then from The Hill, and they're always, they're super short and very, why did you feel it was necessary to report this? So, FBI Director Christopher Wray said on Tuesday that President Trump hasn't directed him to stop Russian efforts to interfere in this year's midterm elections. Now, that is not that they aren't doing it. They are. They are trying to take measures to prevent Russian interference in the 2018 midterm elections. The question that he was asked was, were you directed to do this by the president? And he said, no, not specifically directed by the president. So this entire article is by the fact that the president didn't tell them to do. He didn't tell them not to. He just didn't tell them to do so, even though they are.
Okay. So it's people trying to
make it look like Trump is dirty when it comes to Russia, which, I mean, it doesn't...
It doesn't help his look that he's not, directing them to stop meddling. Because,
sure.
Obama would definitely.
Sure, but at the same time, I could also see Trump being like, are they doing it? Yeah, they're doing it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Go
ahead and do it.
Whatever. I don't care.
Does it make me look good?
I'm going to go back to golfing.
But it's Russia. We're friends. We're trying to be friends with them.
I'm going to go back to golfing. Because golf.
Because taxpayer money.
5.
Democrat Margaret Good flips seat in Florida. The 36th Democrat flip since Trump's inauguration.
This was submitted by the autarch to Our Politics.
So there's a lot of people that that have been calling it the blue midterm 2018. People are very unhappy with the state of the government right now, so they believe that, turning a lot of red seats blue, replacing Republicans with Democrats. A lot of Democrats feel as though they got cheated with some of the results in the 2016 election, so a lot of those seats are turning blue. Now, this is not indicative in any way, really, of of the current administration. This happens every time. All the time. Look at the previous 50 years of politics, and every 4 years it just flips back and forth. It goes from red to blue to red to blue to red to blue to red to blue.
That's because both parties suck. And what happens is somebody's like, "Oh, I voted for these people," and they're not doing shit.
I better vote for the other side.
Other guys.
Oh, they're not doing shit.
And it just...
Oh, they're not doing shit. Vote for the other guy. They're not doing shit. Vote for the other guy. Like, it literally is just like, does this side of the coin work? No. Can I put it in the machine if I flip it over? No. It's still the same fucking coin. One side's red, one side's blue. What you really need to do is ditch the coin for, like, even a pyramid die. Like a 4-sided die, maybe a little bit more. I would like to see something like a 6 or 8-sided die. And you just have all those parties keep rolling, Your mom said that I can have some of your ashes, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I saw.
That's great.
Now I have to make sure I outlive her so that you don't get any of my ashes. No offense, Mom. It's not like I'm trying to have you killed. Because I'm not.
In any case. So, yeah, I mean, people are like, oh, man, Democrats taking over. Yeah, that's what was going to happen. Like,
yeah.
Welcome to the way that politics work. But I don't think a lot of people realize what history has shown us in terms of how things just continue to flip back and forth.
Yeah, our history classes aren't very great. Don't get me wrong, our history teachers are amazing. I wish they had better material.
And got paid more.
Why don't we talk about the shortcomings of America more often?
Because history classes...
Like, all we really talk about is the Civil War and the Trail of Tears, and then sometimes we'll talk about the Vietnam War.
Dude, did you see the I think it was on Reddit that I saw it, how they described the Trail of Tears in one of the more recently released history books?
Oh, yeah, I did. I lost my shit. That was not okay. At any point, you should not have fucking printed that.
I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. Oh, here it is. I think I found it. Yeah. Yeah, when the European settlers arrived, they needed land to live on. The First Nations peoples agreed to move to different areas to make room for the new settlements.
That was not how that happened whatsoever.
Not only that, it wasn't even like a section. That is literally just a small little blurb at the top of a page.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, what the fuck? That is not what happened. Not even close. No. And like, I want to know who the fuck wrote that history book.
I also want to see a history book that accurately teaches more about the Vietnam War.
Well,
I don't remember shit about the Vietnam War.
Well, I mean, I can summarize it for you if you really
No,
want.
I can too. Fucking America went to Vietnam and then we lost to a bunch of farmers and fucking shit spikes.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that's about right. But it's irritating because like it's even difficult now to tell if even the history that we were taught when we were young is anywhere close to accurate.
Yo, a lot of it is fucking garbage. Like anything you're taught about Christopher Columbus.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that's all garbage.
The dude was an awful rapist.
The dude was just awful. There's nothing good about that man at all.
Let's talk more about Leif Erikson.
Sure. But not Christopher Columbus. No, that was
Happy Leif Erikson Day, guys. Hinga binga boing.
Anywho.
4.
Pastor was counseling the young naked man tied up in his car.
Yo, same. This is submitted by Maffick to R, not the Onion.
God damn it.
Yo, him and me have some things in common.
Yeah. So, God, somebody in the neighborhood called the police over a suspicious car that was parked outside of a house. When the police showed up, they found a young man naked, tied up in the front seat, and a naked old man in the back seat. The young man did tell him that everything that was happening was consensual. They found that the young man was a member of the pastor's flock. And the pastor said that we were just playing. We meet up from time to time. I was trying to counsel him to help him with a drug problem that he has.
Yo, that is not how you do that. That's not how you counsel people. You don't counsel them by tying them up naked in your car.
No. Also, if you're going to take part in BDSM in general, maybe don't do it in a car sitting in the middle of a public neighborhood at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yo, and do not trust 50 Shades of Grey. That movie does not accurately represent BDSM whatsoever.
That series doesn't accurately represent anything.
It's worse than Whip It to Roller Derby.
It is. That movie is... Whip It...
There's one good thing that came out of 50 Shades of Grey.
What?
The guy who did the soundtrack was Danny Elfman.
Oh, okay, sure.
And if you guys don't know who Danny Elfman is, he's the guy who did, like, he sang all of Jack's parts in The Nightmare Before Christmas, and he also wrote all of their songs. He also wrote The Simpsons intro, and he was part of a band called Oingo Boingo, where they had some hit songs like Dead Man's Party or Little Girls.
Is that so, Nathan?
I mean, it's a good song.
So
there's also Reptiles and Samurai, I think was the name of the song.
So both men are now facing charges of lewdness and indecent exposure.
Yeah, that's a Class 2 felony.
So, yeah.
You know how I know that?
Why?
Because of the song at the beginning of the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie.
Yeah.
Keep your pants on at all times. Don't pull your penis out unless you really need to. Indecent exposure is a Class 2 felony.
All right, then.
Yeah, so, I mean, that taught me that I shouldn't pull my penis out unless I really need to.
Unless you really need to. Israeli police say Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should be charged over alleged bribery cases.
This is submitted by Johnny W94 at Our World News.
So the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, has been in power since the 1990s. And, well, over time, just more and more, like, there's been about 15 cases brought against him, the majority of which have all failed and ended in nothing. But police in Israel have said that they have enough evidence now that a case should actually be brought against him where charges could be filed. There's a couple of them, one of which involves him trading positive coverage in a newspaper in exchange for trying to get a rival newspaper completely shut down. He's also accepted extremely large gifts totaling 1 million shekels, which is around $283,000, from a
Yo, isn't that the thing from Rick and Morty?
No, those are schmeckles, not shekels.
Oh. Okay.
From a Hollywood mogul in exchange for helping him get a U.S. visa, as well as some other things, exempt from paying taxes and a couple other things. And they even have things along these lines on recording, apparently. Now, what's going to happen? Well, we don't know, because this is just the police saying we found all this evidence, and it's actually up to the Attorney General to file those charges against the Prime Minister. The Attorney General is a very close friend and was appointed by the Prime Minister, so
that's not going to happen.
We'll see what happens there. Also, if he was to be taken out of power, it'd be really interesting to see what happened in Israel. Israel is currently still at odds with Palestine, mostly over the Holy Land of Jerusalem, and one of the biggest staunch people that's causing such a problem is Mr. Netanyahu himself. So
I wonder if they put a new person in there, if things would change.
Maybe, hopefully. Like, I'm sure everyone would like for that matter to be resolved. Someone just tried to call me. 2 people just tried to call me. 1 person left a voicemail. I don't recognize either of these numbers. What area code is 707? Area code 707. That is... Whoa. 707 area code. That is in California. One of them left me a voicemail. The other one just called me. Maybe they'll leave me a voicemail. I don't know who these people are. Someone tried to call me. Oh well, too bad, sucker. They can wait. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what happens with the party in Israel.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, I mean,
Dying woman drags herself 100 yards to a road and uses her last words to identify her suspected killers.
this is submitted by Taco Fiasco to our news.
This is tragic and also impressive. Lizette Andrea Cuesta, 19, was found with multiple stab wounds on the side of the road outside of Sacramento, California.
Dude, that reminds me of a case I heard today. I think it was up here, but I can't remember because of the antihistamines.
Sure. Anything else or just that?
What happened? What happened was this guy got out of prison. Oh, it was on a TV show that my friend was watching. I'm sorry.
Sure.
It was just told to me at work. This guy got out of prison. He then went to was living with his brother and his brother's family, and then murdered his brother, his brother's wife, and there's 5 children, but there was 3 that survived. And the only way that it was found out is that one of the the 7-year-old was Uncle what's his name did it.
Oh, okay. Well, in this case, so she had her throat slashed as well as multiple stab wounds to her body. She was found by
You dragged yourself 100 yards with a slashed throat.
Yep. And it could
hold the fucking phone.
Wait for it, Nathan. So not only that, she was found by a passing motorist who called 911. She managed to fight for her life for the helicopter to get there, airlifted her to the hospital, and was in the hospital for several hours with these wounds, talking to investigators about what happened, told them the full details, including that it was 2 of her friends and coworkers that did it, before finally succumbing to her wounds.
Good God.
The strength.
The pure hatred and anger that must be flowing through that woman to have survived that is something comparable to Sith Lords.
Maybe not even Sith Lords. God damn it, Nathan. Maybe not even hatred or anger, just the pure need and drive to survive. The will to live can be extremely impressive.
Caused by anger for someone doing that to you. I know if I were to live through something like that, it's because I don't want to die at that point because I'm so fucking angry. That'll never fucking happen.
Sure. Unfortunately, she did succumb to her wounds, but both of the suspected suspects have been brought in under suspected murder charges, and they're trying to get a little bit more evidence and also try and figure out some level of motive.
All right, hold the phone. A dying woman who dragged herself 100 fucking yards, survived a helicopter fucking flight to a hospital for several hours, right?
That number is
and
calling me
you're questioning if she was telling the truth.
I'm not, but the authorities have to have a level of evidence to support it. That person
All
has
right.
called me 3 times.
Okay.
So.
I hope the judge sees that and is just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right. All right. So,
jury, I hope all of the people in the jury are like, yo, they fucking did it.
Well, looks like you 2 are going to jail. Bye.
That one person on the jury that's like, nah, dude, she must have been lying as she was dying. Are you, what? What?
People are stupid and crazy, Nathan.
Oh, God.
Vivi says Google
Amazing.
the phone number. I'll Google it later. They've also left 2 voicemails, so I'll check
listen to the voicemail.
Yeah.
1.
Star Wars Episode 9 hires Blade Runner 2049 art director.
That was submitted. I was going to say that was directed by Rick Dan.
Perfect.
It was submitted by Rick Dan to our movies.
Now, it's more than just Blade Runner 2049. Paul Inglis was also the art director for James Bond Skyfall, Game of Thrones, Prometheus, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Children of Men, and Blade Runner.
This guy knows what he's doing.
This guy does know what he's doing.
Yo, that means that hopefully this next Star Wars movie is going to be a bit darker in tone.
Maybe. I mean, it's also going to have J.J. Abrams directing it, so
I kind of want Rey to join the dark side. I kind of want a dark side victory.
I've not seen Episode 8, so I know that stuff happens with people asking people to join them, but that's all I've heard so far. I need to go see it.
I mean, that's what Sith Lords do.
Yeah,
They're
join
like,
the dark
yo,
side.
You're actually a really strong Jedi. Have you thought about Satan?
Because really, you'd be a really strong Sith. Like,
Yo, you should get really angry. And they're like, what? No, I'm going to avenge my friends and kill you, Sith. And
in
like,
anger,
yeah,
right?
wait, hold on. You said avenge?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me zap you a bit. Just.
Are you angry?
I
Are you
know
mad?
you're not okay with it. Bzz, are you angry? Bzz, are you angry? Yes.
Yes.
Feed into that.
Let
Come
the
on.
hate flow through you.
That's my favorite part about Sith Lords. In order to get more of them, in order to get someone to follow you, you have to first almost kill them, right? And then they'll start following you, and you know somewhere down the line they're gonna fucking try and kill you. And I mean, it's like super fucking fun and cool. I would love that. Oh, I'm gonna teach my child to be a Sith Lord if I have one, and then I know that someday I'll die by his hand, and I would be real happy.
Yeah, you'd be very proud, Nathan.
I'd be a proud father.
A proud teacher.
That being said, that'd probably scar them and fuck them up for life.
Okay, Nathan, are you ready to talk about something really crappy?
As much as I can while I'm still awake.
Okay, I'm gonna hit this one.
You make me sad.
Because it's very true. So if you are unaware, America really likes to kill itself in droves. In this case, there has been a mass shooting at a high school in Florida. This occurred at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkway, Florida, if I remember correctly. At this point in time, what we do know is that Parkland, Florida, I'm sorry. The gunman was a former student. They are not currently a student. They had graduated and then apparently had a real big grudge and came back and shot up the school. And I'm being told that they were in fact expelled. Either way, 17 people are confirmed dead. Several others are injured. Yeah.
On Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday.
Yeah. They were the shooter was 19 years old. I'm not going to tell you their name because fuck them. It doesn't matter because that it's already under control in that case. Yeah.
Yeah. Has The Onion posted that article yet?
I don't know. I can find out. I mean, if not, it'll be up tomorrow. Yeah, already up. No way to prevent this, says only nation where this regularly happens.
That's because we love our freedom of having a gun more than we love our people.
It's something like there's already been like 15 school shootings in America since the beginning of the year.
All right, so how many mass shootings?
Not just mass shootings, school shootings.
Okay. And it's halfway through February?
Yeah. So, what's that, like a little over 2 a week?
Oh, boy. That is some fucked up shit in America. It makes me not want to live in America. It makes me not want to raise a child in America.
It's... Yeah. And, people just continue to dismiss it. Like, it's not a big deal.
But America's the greatest country ever.
Yeah, we're real good at killing each other.
Yeah. And other people and, whatever.
The thing that irritates me about situations like this, outside of, the whole situation of crying in my office with painfully clenched fists, is the concept of that when this happens, that the people that are anti-gun control instead want to know, like, well, how did he get a gun? Why did he get a gun? It's like, that's not the problem. Like, with as rampant as guns are in America, as easy as they are to get for basically fucking anybody, like, it, and they try to say, well, if you take away all the guns, it still won't prevent this from happening. Actually, we have a lot of evidence that shows that it does. Like,
I mean, okay, starting off, sure. Starting off, it's going to be, still illegal guns all over the place, right? But, like, that's what deters most people, is that starting off, it just doesn't work. Like, of course, nothing just works starting off.
Not unless it's just beneficial for everybody. Like, if
that's not how you progress. You're going to fail. You have to fail in order to get better. You have to realize your shortcoming.
Well, and like Japan and Australia have extremely strict gun control, and they have not had mass shootings. Like, Australia had one of the worst mass shootings in the world, in history. And then they said, well, that doesn't need to happen anymore, so we're going to take away all your guns. And everyone went, that fucking sucks. And guess what? They don't have mass shootings anymore. Japan did the exact same thing.
And so a lot of people argue, well, they're going to find a way to kill people, they're going to kill people. And it's like, yo, you can kill a lot more people with a gun than you can a knife.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you have the potential to kill a lot of people with a knife, but, like, it's easier to defend yourself against a fucking knife.
Well, and
than
also
it is to defend yourself against a gun.
The thing is especially when it comes to mass shootings, and shootings in general, is the ease of it. There is no effort in it. You don't have to do anything besides squeeze your hand. People are like, well, they just figure out how to build bombs. And I'm like, there's a lot of effort and knowledge that goes into that. The
Especially
amount of
not blowing yourself up.
Yeah, the amount of effort that goes into lifting a 4-pound piece of metal and squeezing your hand a few times is none.
It's astounding.
But
it really is.
You and I have been...
But you can't mention guns at a time like this, Michael.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't, because, it's very insensitive to the people. We can't talk about gun controls around this time.
Yeah, no, it can totally be politicized, because guess what? There are 17 families now that have dead children. And if there's an answer to not having more dead children, it needs to be addressed.
I'm telling you, if we don't do something about gun control, I am emigrating before I have a child.
Well, and also...
Because I'm not raising a child in this fucking kind of scenarioed world.
Well, and even beyond that, like, you and me have been doing this show for a little over 2 years now, about 2 years and 4 months, and the number of times that we have had to talk about this is astounding.
It's entirely too much.
And the number of times...
We shouldn't have to talk about it in the first place, really.
Well, and also the number of times that this happens that we don't talk about it, because it is not big enough news to get to the front page of any news source at all.
Someone who goes to a school with a gun doesn't always make front page because, maybe they didn't kill anybody.
Maybe they didn't kill anybody. Maybe only one person died. So that's not big enough news. This is only big news because there was a large response to it and a large number of people died. That's not how that should work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Stories like this disgust me, depress me, and then it just makes me even more frustrated with the people that try to defend the things that allow this to happen. Because there is so little control on guns, so little true regulation on guns. Like, there is no mitigation for this.
I had gotten into an online argument with someone about gun control, and he was like, dude, I work at a gun store. I should know these things. And I'm like, all right, so do you know that if... He's like, we have to, have them sign this thing and send it to the FBI and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, do you know what the Charleston loophole is? Like, they don't actually have to go through that. Up here, you wait like 3 days, and if they haven't gotten back to you, you get to buy your gun.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa, I actually didn't read that. I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking very real thing. Well, and there's only like 8 states that have ever fucking addressed the Charleston loophole.
Well, and even beyond that, like, one of the other things is like, just get more guns. And it's like, so you're just going to result in more people killing each other. Like,
it's just violence begets violence.
Yeah, one of the best ways to stop a dude with a gun is if you have a gun. It's like, that's a real shitty answer. Also, you're putting the burden on other people to kill somebody.
You're also putting the burden on some people who can't afford a gun to purchase a gun. Guns aren't cheap all the time. Yes, there's some hand cannons that are like $100 or so. That's $100 that someone probably doesn't fucking have. I'll tell you what, the thing that really put me in my opinion about gun control is the guy the like attacks, the knife attacks and the car attacks in England. There's one of them that a guy pulled the knives out, and there was like 3 people with knives running down the streets trying to stab people. One of the guys had a knife, and he walked into a pub, and the pub guys picked up their chairs and started throwing them at him and started chasing him down the street to beat him. If that guy had a gun, he would have just pop, pop, pop.
Yep.
But people were able to respond to the situation with what they had and came out benefited, just in the positive for it. Yeah, you can sit there and throw your chairs at someone with a gun, but, like, they have an exponentially higher chance of killing your ass.
I don't know. Because all of the answers besides putting good, strong limitations, and because, like, you can still get a gun in Japan. It's just really, really fucking difficult, takes a really long time, and you have an extreme limitation on what guns you can get.
But, Michael, my 14 guns in my gun cabinet, I'll say that I disagree.
You want to run that by me again?
Actually, I do own a gun.
Do you?
My father had purchased a gun for me when I was a kid. I don't have it at my domicile. Okay. I have, like, he holds on to it.
Sure.
But I do have a gun.
Sure. It
is a 22 410 interchangeable. So it's got two barrels that you can hook in and out. It'll go from a 22, a small 22 rifle to a small 410 shotgun.
Sure.
But my dad wanted to teach us gun safety. So, like, growing up, I knew how to work with guns and deal with guns and, you know, what not to do with guns. And that was the thing that I really enjoyed about growing up with my father, is that he made it to where guns were a safety thing, but, like, he made it to where it's not something that you should be taking out and, you know, having too much fun with. It's like, oh, hey, I've got a gun for that situation that'll occur. That situation, I hope to God, will most likely never fucking occur. But, you know, it's there.
Well, and, like, the thing is like, it's not like one gang member is killing another gang member, or like the mafia that has their, you know, illegal guns or anything like that. We keep seeing situations where 50 people in a Pulse nightclub get killed off because somebody doesn't like gay people.
It's not the mob running around killing these people. It's not the mafia. It's not the Yakuza. It's not the triads. It's not the Bloods or the Crips.
Yeah, we see
people with mental problems.
Yeah, we see somebody that doesn't like, you know, homosexual people go in and kill 50 people in the Pulse nightclub. We see someone go into a church in Texas because he got into an argument with his mother and kill, 23 people in that church. And then everyone's like, oh, it's real good. The person across the street from the church had a gun. They were able to shoot back after he had left the building because he had almost ran out of bullets. Like, there was the kindergarten that got, like, a kindergarten. Like, and the number of schools, the number of children, it's not like evil people killing evil people. No, it is deranged people killing innocent people. So, I don't know. Let's go ahead and get out of here, though. Everybody, I hope you enjoy your Valentine's Day. I hope you are safe when there are so many of the people in the world that did not have that luxury. If you would, please consider supporting the show, patreon.com/dailyinternet. Otherwise, follow and share the show on social media. It helps the show grow. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We are at iReaditCast on all of those. You can leave 5-star reviews to help the show grow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. If you have anything you want us to talk about, regardless how old it is, it doesn't have to be a news story. It can be something old. We'll be happy to bring up something from the past if it's something that you find important. Send it to our subreddit, which is our iReaditCast, or you can send it to us in an email, which is feedback.ireddit@gmail.com. I hope you all have a good day. That is your 430th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Drew P. Dog.
And please remember, everybody, I'm not hitting that one. Not today. I'm going... Oh. Yeah, because...
Yeah, that'd be kind of insensitive.
Yep, sure would. So
I just thought about that.
Yep, instead...
You make me sad.
And have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.